Yeah, thanks for the introduction and welcome to our session. Let's master the jump into mixed reality. Zaid and I, we want today present that matter. The focus is a little bit for developers, but when you're not a developer, I think you also get many of that things. And we want to show that it's also quite easy for .NET developers to get hands on 3D mixed reality. Yeah, then Christian Klesner. I'm the founder and CEO of HoloLens. And yeah, I'm now for 13 years a Microsoft MVP, and we are here in the Teams, let's say previous event was Teams Nation. And like many people here coming from the collaboration area, I also started in SharePoint 2003. I always think it was fascinating with IT, bringing people together, bring them together to collaborate. That's in our genes. And yeah, when I tried first, my first virtual reality experience was with the Oculus DK1, and I tried it, and then I had this amazing experience, and it was kind of the birth hour of HoloLens. That was 7 years ago, because I realized this technology is not just a game or some hype. This is a game changer. And yeah, so here I am with Zaid, who has the most awesome dance moves.
Nice, thank you so much. On my end, also thank you very much for Metaverse One for having us. I'm Zaid Zaim. I'm a mixed reality catalyst at HoloLens. So what does it mean to be a catalyst? Basically, I love sharing sharing what we do in the mixed reality metaverse space with interested clients and customers. And I am now 2 years MVP, Microsoft MVP for mixed reality. So I also love sharing my knowledge with the community around mixed reality and growing the developer and tech community toward mixed reality and metaverse. In Berlin, I also lead the Unity user group of Germany. So I were able also to form a community toward XR and metaverse in there. So on a personal base, I am also originally from Syria. I lead a community project around how we can use mixed reality to bring cultural heritage back to life. So I presented this today in the morning, and basically bringing ancient monuments using mixed reality back to life. And I'm very happy to be here together with my friend and partner in crime, Christian, to take you on your next jump into mixed reality.
Yeah, then the first question might be, why jump at all into mixed reality? So I had that also in my previous talk a little bit. There is that term, a metaverse, that attracts a lot of hype. It's just how people call it now. So as you heard, maybe there is really no clear definition what metaverse is. It's everybody agrees somehow it's the next evolution of the internet. That's the part where people agree on, but how it concretely looks like, that's not really sure. It's, as I said, we had that things before, like internet, World Wide Web, cloud computing, mobile computing, and all that things. We are in the beginning of that stage. We see different things that evolving there. We have that virtual world thing, social VR. We have then all that Web 3.0 things coming from blockchain. And then quite important for us today, we have, let's say, the building block, XR, MR, VR, AR, and these technologies. I compared a little bit when we see that thing with the World Wide Web. Then I think that's something that's when we build the stuff with HTML and JavaScript to build actually the World Wide Web. It's a little bit, we use AR, VR, MR, however you call it. We use these technologies to build the metaverse. The metaverse is not a specific technology. It's something we create in the future, like, for example, the World Wide Web. And this is our technology stack, how we can build that. So maybe I also forgot what I think or what I might believe in the metaverse is. So every of these people coming from social VR, let's say all space, spatial, they all say metaverse, or they're coming from Web 3.0, like Decentraland Sandbox, they say metaverse. For me, and currently it's much more virtual reality based, but I think that's just because we do not have a mainstream ready AR device. So the metaverse topic in the end will also be AR, MR where you can see also the reality. The technology is not just ready for this. For me, it means the metaverse means the internet gets 3D. It's not just a website. You not just surf on a website. You step into the website, you go into that brand, you go in their showroom, you interact immersive with them. So for me, the pillars, what it is the internet gets 3D and immersive. That's what for me means the metaverse. How that exactly look like, that's what we here discussing. That's what we are helping to build here. So, and then you see also when you see the market research about that metaverse topic, there are plenty of reports from research institutes like, 800 billion market, the next tech platform. That was, for example, for Bloomberg Intelligence. You will see a lot of that thing. And we saw that already many times before. It's exactly the same thing that we happen, cloud computing, the next big thing. And now metaverse will be that thing after cloud and mobile computing. Yeah, but there are also some challenges to solve here. So when you work with developer or it's sometimes for a developer even hard to build something good looking in 2D. Here I don't know, in German we say developer beautiful or something like this. So it looks good for the developer, but it doesn't look good for the rest of the people most likely. So it's already not so easy to build a good, really good usable 2D UI. That's hard. And and then we see movies like this. I unfortunately will start with audio. Yeah, so we all know that movie. It got really famous, Minority Report, because we saw then Tom Cruise there, Chang, here interacting with all that things. That looks quite cool and everybody was super impressed. But I can tell you one thing, do that with the HoloLens or with this for 15 minutes and you think, oh, this is quite hard. So that looks cool, but from the ergonomic perspective, it's actually horrible. So I personally use here at home a trackpad because I had the problem trackball because I really work a lot at the computer, and when I had pain issues with my wrist, and so I decided to use a device that makes such small movements, and then you see chang, and then you see that looks cool, but it's not how it works. Then you have another challenge. You have different hardware. It's a very fast evolving market. On one hand, we have devices, AR devices like the HoloLens, and then we have devices like Oculus Go, then the Quest came, Cambria, then we have mixed reality, the mixed reality headsets from the Microsoft partners, Windows mixed reality. Then we have vendors like Pico and completely different platforms, and developing for all that platform for sure, this is would be quite tough. This is also a challenge, different hardware, even with different capabilities. And the good thing is there is a solution for all your problems. MRTK. So, session done. Yeah, maybe we check a little bit more how that exactly works. So I'm not sure what is your background here, but many people working with Microsoft also have a background in with C#. And so we will have in a second a look to Unity, but maybe to make it a little more dynamic first, maybe I jump one further and maybe tell about the first option. Instead of the MRTK, there's also another option
exactly.
where you also can build it.
Yeah. So another option or a developer tool how you can get started into the mixed reality space is StereoKit. So StereoKit is if you are a hardcore .NET C# developer and you are always into the ecosystem of Visual Studio and doing your cool projects in there and hacking there. So you can basically just get StereoKit as a library basically, or as a NuGet package, and then you can get started coding and building your first prototype, everything happening in Visual Studio. So there's no need for additional IDEs or additional game engines. So everything happens in Visual Studio, and you can start getting assets and simple interactions in there and build your first OpenXR mixed reality VR experience directly in Visual Studio.
Yeah, exactly. So we go one back. That was a side note that there's another way. We are talking today mostly about the Mixed Reality Toolkit, and this builds on the strengths of Unity. Unity is a game engine. There's two super famous. It's Unity and it's Unreal, and more. And yeah, let's say it seems the favorite engine a little bit from Microsoft is Unity at this point. And I give you a very quick introduction how Unity looks like. So we bring that up here, because when you see that games and all that 3D stuff, all that magic, you think, wow, there must be kind of gods to do that. That's super complicated. But then you start using it and you see, oh, it's actually not so hard. It's rather even easy. So you see, you have here this 3D view. You have an explorer where you can put 3D objects, game objects in. And for example, we bring just now in a simple 3D object like a cube. But you could also bring in your own GLB. You know, it could be when you have a model of that, maybe an engine or whatever model or business you require. We use here a very basic object like this GLB. Let's put it to the ground here. So that's the transform. You say on the coordinate system, where should that thing be? Just let me a second if I want to have it there. I think it's a little too close. Put it a little away from the camera. So now we have it in front of that's a preview, how it looks like. Now you see we have also things like a rotation, just that it looks a little bit cooler in the demo, I think. Yeah, we rotate it a little bit. And now it looks in the game view like this. So we can build, we call it building a scene. You can arrange the 3D objects in that hierarchy. That's what you can build in Unity. And there are even different work streams. You have artists working them. They are good with orchestrating things and configuring stuff. And we have developers. And you see here some properties like light and materials. This is the thing that usually an artist cares about. Let's call it like the style sheets. Also, maybe an artist cares more about how it should look like. So that's a work stream that mostly an 3D environment artist does. But we have most likely many developers here. And Unity has this component thing. That means you have an object and it can have different components which actually influence the behavior. So I have here a very simple a component, here this demo component, and we now just put this simple component to this object. This is actually a script. And we see we have also one property like rotation speed. Let's start that thing and see what happens. So it takes a second. And we see I made a very simple script that make that cube rotating. I even gave it here for the designer a property. We want to have it faster rotating. We want to have it slower rotating. This is how you can influence the behavior. Now we have a look behind this that you know how this is done, which is more developer task. So it fires up the environment. In my case, that's on my developer box. I configured as a standard editor. I configured here JetBrains .NET Writer because it has some really cool integrations into Unity. But usually, even with Visual Studio Community Edition, all those things pop up. But on my local environment, I have here Writer as a standard editor. But usually, it's Visual Studio. So a very important thing when you develop here games is that there is something like a game loop, and that fires. Let's simplify it. Let's say it fires every frame. It's not exactly every frame, but it runs in a loop. And then I changed the transform here. And that's something, yeah, how much time between the last loop is this time delta time. I have the rotation speed. and I rotate that around the axis. So you could do here whatever you want, letting flying things around. There are even actions like buttons pressing and things like this. So you write a script behind it. It gives the object the behavior. So this is as a very short intro how it works together. You have that thing, this more designer where you can place and put objects, and then you can attach scripts which bring certain behavior to it, which you can write in C#, and it's really super easy as a C# developer to get into this. But even also for maybe for any kind of developer, it's not so hard. That was just a short excursion to Unity, that you may have a feeling what it is to develop a game. We talked about StereoKit. Now I hand over to Zaid, who will tell a little bit about what the MRTK brings on top of what we saw.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Christian, for the demonstration. So before jumping into MRTK 3, I love to give maybe a brief introduction what is actually mixed reality, or what is the mixed reality spectrum in my own words. So mixed reality is a spectrum. It's consisting of two subcategories. On the one hand, AR, and on the other hand, virtual reality. So for a very common example for augmented reality applications is the game Pokemon Go. I strongly believe that some of you guys here in the room probably went once on the street and started hunting, looking for Pokemon. So you hold your phone and then started looking for the Pokemons here on the street, and exactly. So these objects, these Pokemons, get overlaid digitally over the physical world. So here in augmented reality, we are only speaking of overlaying the digital content over the physical world. And exactly, so that's AR. And in virtual reality, the user gets completely immersed in a virtual computer-generated environments. So basically, the best example is here the device of Meta Quest 2, for example, which as an example, exactly, Christian. So later on, the best example would be try joining us in the after party. So you will be completely immersed in a computer generated world, and then you start dancing and meeting other people, and even meet our incredible holoported DJ. So we created a virtual environment completely beyond our thoughts. So you can completely be anywhere you would like. You can go hang out with Einstein or do something cool, have a beer in virtual reality and meeting others. Exactly. And then coming back to mixed reality. So basically we fusion these two subcategories, these two sub-realities together, and then we come up to the mixed reality. So here the example is the device like a HoloLens 2. You can wear the HoloLens 2, and then you can still see the real environment, the physical world, and then you see some digital objects that you can interact with them. The HoloLens has here some 3D sensors that can recognize your hand, so hand tracking basically. Then you can grab objects and then integrate them directly into the physical world. So later on, we will have a short demonstration about on the HoloLens. So
one best practice here at this part, people love best practice. You see Zaid's haircut is really not well suited for mixed reality. So just to prepare you, the perfect metaverse haircut is much shorter.
It is. Yeah. Exactly. And now jumping back. So yeah, that was in my understanding what is mixed reality. So now let's jump to MRTK3. So what is actually Mixed Reality Toolkit? It is an open source driven project by Microsoft that allows developers, designers, and tech interested people to get easily onboarded developing apps for in the mixed reality spectrum. So for AR, VR, and also 2D and 3D games using the gaming engine Unity 3D. So MRTK3 is now in its third generation, and it brings a lot of enhancements and incredible features. On the one hand, that is modularity. So when we think back in time, we use always to get a lot of different packages from different documentations and pages, and here the modularity is made that there is within MRTK you can use the feature tool and then give the path of your Unity project, and then you can import all necessary packages that allows you to get started for mixed reality in few clicks and seconds. So it provides us also flexibility in design. We will have also a look in a bit how enhanced or how awesome some new UI systems there are. So the MRTK3 provides a new design language, provides you predefined buttons and UIs that allows you to integrate in your mixed reality application to enhance and empower the visual looking and making your app look sexy, basically. Exactly. And one of the amazing features I love here in the design language that Microsoft implemented here is, so we have, let's say, a button, and then the button really, so when you want to interact with it, it invites you basically to interact with it. So you get always a highlight or always a boomerang when you want to get touch or get closer to this button. So this is something really interesting. We'll have a look in it in a bit. Yeah, and I think supporting last standards, basically, you would, using MRTK3, you would be able to go cross-platform. So you would be able to deploy your same Unity project to different projects. And here, I would
one thing to step in here. For, let's say, for people who are also JavaScript developer or something, the MRTK, you must imagine, I said before, like HTML and JavaScript. Imagine you would build a website or Microsoft Teams, something like this, or SharePoint. You would build that with HTML tags, just CSS, and pure JavaScript. Nobody would work like this. And we have then this awesome things like, React components, Fluent UI, building that stuff. And imagine the mixed reality is exactly this. You do not have to define everything from scratch. You have a rich component framework that builds, that builds on top of that. And this is brings a lot of productivity in it.
Yeah. So, and also one of the most important highlights of MRTK3, it allows us to go cross-platform and beyond. So what does this mean? So again, if we go back in time a few years ago or a few months ago, if you wanted to develop for different, your mixed reality project for different devices, you always had to download, I don't know, individual dedicated SDKs, either for MetaQuest 2 or for the HoloLens or for your mobile AR. So, and today with MRTK3, we are going again cross-platform, empowering this idea and fusioning Unity's interaction toolkit, the OpenXR, and Unity's input system. And this allows us to deploy our same Unity project, only having MRTK3 to different end devices, if that's the mobile AR, MetaQuest 2, HoloLens 2, you name it. So a lot of devices that support OpenXR would be able to deploy your Unity project using MRTK3 without any or a lot of efforts and challenges.
Yeah, important thing here is really the OpenXR. Also, we go back to the web analogy. You will see there is the World Wide Web Consortium. They decide, how browsers, because they're also different browsers, how they'll be compatible to each other. And there is a group, it's called Kronos Group, a foundation, and they define actually a standard for OpenXR devices. And this makes it for us as developer much easier when new hardware will come and they're compliant to the standard. It makes it's much easier. It's a very new standard, but Microsoft fully embraced that, and we will see that makes things much easier for us developer in the future. And I bet now one side want to explain a little bit what cool interactions we have there.
Yeah. Okay, so here we see some hands-on example on how we can interact with objects. So we can make objects interactables, for example, by adding only one script in Unity. It's called the object manipulator, and then you can really freely interact with the object, scale it, and change the perspective on it. Exactly, and that's only one script. You drag and drop it in the project, and then you are in there. And then we have the bounding control. This allows us to give an object various dimensions. That allows us to scale it rotate it and view it from different perspectives. So this is, we are controlling the dimensions of an object. And here what we saw in the second picture, or in the second video, also another, the different components of UI that are provided in there. So we have beginning from buttons to switches to radio buttons, all of these that could be easily controlled in Unity. So basically you can add always this UI component in there, and it contains all the necessary scripts predefined in Unity, and then you can drag and drop the different interactions that you would love to have. We are also having here a hand menu, so it always reminds me some sort of an Iron Man movie, and then you can just toggle here your hand menu and then start playing around with a slider, or toggling some certain events through the hand menu. And finally, spatial awareness. So this empowers the idea of mixed reality. Basically, the HoloLens recognizes the physical environment and then allows us really to align the digital content into the physical world. So here we see also a lot of further examples on MRTK shaders that are well optimized for mixed reality experiences. So it saves a lot of performance and computing power on your HoloLens. And exactly, because standard Unity shaders are not optimized, and we want to try to do the most maximum of optimization and smooth experience without no lag in our HoloLens experience. Exactly. And here we go with an updated mixed reality design language. So here, I think some really incredible also connections to Windows 11 with all the rounded UI.
Or Microsoft Mesh, when somebody saw the Microsoft Mesh preview app. Yeah. So,
for example, right, Christian? And here, one of the cool things, you can also again see the different menu options and the buttons in there. And here in the center, we see this, I don't know, this 3D model in there with this person. So basically, this is also a simplified 3D model of an object, so of this object. So behind that, you can imagine it's in window, and in there, this guy standing in there. So imagine yourself then wearing the HoloLens, and then you can really change the perspective and view what is happening inside of this window. I tried it out. It was a very special, unique, idea of how we can further go with UX, UI, and volumetric interactions in mixed reality.
Right. I think enough talking, Zaid. I think we switch to a demo again. So first, I show you also again a little bit what it means to make
Christian,
that
before
in
jumping
Unity.
to the demo. So we would love to have some reactions here in the room. Who loves demos? So just send us some hearts. React with some cool hearts if you loved live demos. Whoa, amazing. Nice.
Zaid, I thought, I rather think we should rename you in Mixed Reality Cheerleader.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. It's on the backup list. Great.
So yeah, just to show really how simple it is. So we have here that cube. It could be any other object, and now we have here that's component when you install the Mixed Reality Toolkit. You get this object manipulator. I just put it on it. You can configure many things here, like what interaction you want, move, rotate, scale, and things like this. It's just a few flags, and I just pulled that predefined script on it. Now I start that scene again. Play. So Yeah, Unity is also not a very, very fastest tool on this planet. I even consider to write in a Word contract that's not working time when you when you wait for Unity. So we have this rotating cube, and now this is also part of the MRTK. You have this simulation. You know, you do not want to deploy it always. Believe me, it takes a while to build it and deploy it. It takes a while. You want to test now the interaction, and it couldn't do anything before like rotating. And now we even get from MRTK this hand, and I said it should be manipulatable. And what can I do? I just can, pull it around. I could scale it when I use the second hand, and this just happened because one single component. Imagine how much work that is. You somehow would have to write the driver or something like this to interact with the real hardware for HoloLens, for Quest. The hand interaction, the trigger, the script, how to move that behind the ray cast. It's really, really a lot of work. And with the MRTK, it's just one drag and drop in the end, and it makes it really, really productive. That's the message here. So just maybe give Unity a try. There's super cool tutorials about Unity. So now we check just a little bit. When you start building something, you may do not know what is in that thing, what is in the box. So let me, I hope it's here still on the device. Let me see.
Then maybe, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Zaid.
No, go ahead. Fine.
I stream from my headset, Quest 2 crop. And so we see a demo scene now from Mixed Reality Toolkit, build it on the Quest. So
exactly. Maybe Christian, one note before. So basically, what we want to demonstrate now, how the mixed reality interaction scene works on the Oculus and the HoloLens. So before the session, Christian and I, to just save some time, we built our the interaction scene, one on the Oculus and one on the HoloLens, without doing a lot of challenges and efforts.
You see, wait, Unity. So now the scene is loaded, and yeah, we see here plenty of things like the UI we saw before. We see these buttons, how they react. We can play with it. We can grab it, and we learn here a little bit about what is actually in the box, which interactions are possible. Like here, there's buttons we can play a song.
Indeed.
Yeah, or here we have sliders which we can use. All that, all this is part of the MRTK, and all what we see here is just a drag and drop, like I did before. Let me see, is there something in? Oh yeah, now it's the world inside. Yeah. However, so you see that's super easy, and it looks somehow, maybe when you see that and you never tried something, it looks really like magic rocket science, but it's not so hard than it looks like. So Zaid, I think we hand over to you and you show it on the HoloLens.
Yeah. So on my end, so let's. It's one of my first online demos, so let's give it a shot, I would say. I hope everything works fine. So Christian, you might need a bit to comment what I will be seeing, because I'm leaving a little bit here this place that I'm in, but you will be guys seeing the first person feed from the HoloLens, and let's try connecting it basically now. Turn off my camera, and then you will be in a bit only seeing the first person from the HoloLens. Exactly. So I'm wearing now the HoloLens. Let me maybe turn on my screen a bit. So signing in. And now I have the Connect app on the on Windows, and I want to hopefully Miracast the vision of the HoloLens to computer. Wow, it worked out. So I hope there won't be lag. So let's give it a shot. see my lovely mini phone booth here. I'll go out, and you might not be able to hear me, but Christian will be, I think, commenting on what we will be seeing.
Yeah, what I just showed you also saw the mesh. That's kind of the spatial understanding of the HoloLens. That's yeah, one really cool thing of the HoloLens is the spatial understanding. Zaid, as you see, fires now up the app. That's exactly the same app that I have deployed before to my Quest device. Yeah, seems the connection is a little bit bumpy. So here is the scene finally, and you saw exactly the same scene. The difference is you saw in my scene, it was black, and it could be any virtual environment, but black means for the HoloLens reality. So you have the real background here. And Zaid now shows the bounding box and also the interactions, but this time you use your hands, and it's all abstracted already from the MRTK. Yeah, he gave him a cup of coffee. That's very, Zaid is a really polite, nice guy, you see. Yeah, you see all that interactions, and I did it with a controller on a completely different device, same scene deployed to the HoloLens, and it works, and yeah, it makes things really easy. I think we lost the connection. I know I think Zaid always try to play that song, but he's not that kind of musician. Luckily, he cannot hear me. Luckily, you can also not hear it when he's played the piano. Yeah. Okay, Zaid, I think it's anyway a little bit of chaotic it looks here, but you see it. It's actually what happens here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was basically a glimpse how cross-platform works on both Oculus and the HoloLens 2 of the interaction toolkit. So yeah.
Yeah, and then we come to one, maybe even our last real slide is Zaid's
the Mixed Reality
slide.
Community rocks.
The Microsoft,
yeah, or the Mixed Reality Community rocks, exactly. So here, for example, in June, we realized one of the first after parties post-COVID in person, celebrating together the MR Dev Days in Berlin at Microsoft in the atrium. And we love growing the dev community together toward mixed reality. And here, one of the special momentums was we had also the MRTK team joining us virtually from Redmond to Berlin. So it was a really nice experience. So unfortunately, today we are all together online. So I don't know, maybe Paul, is it possible to switch into the together mode and have a group picture in there? Is this somehow in any way possible, or that folks who are interested to turn on their cameras and then we take a group picture?
We can do. Just bear with me a second. I just need to allow cameras for people, and then
yeah, I see. Vesa is in for sure.
Each event.
And
Hello,
while people maybe switch on the cam, so what we see is, by the way, that the mix. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. Other also dress up with some cool classes. So what we also see, and that's also what Vesa is here. We see that the mixed reality community somehow merged together with the teams and all the collaboration communities we had before. I think the Teams Nation transition also to the metaverse one things. So in the end, we will be one big happy community.
One big happy family, basically. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So basically, each event we do ends with an incredible, unique, reality rocks picture. Exactly. So Paul, what's next? So do the folks turn on their cameras? Are we switching to the together mode, or what's the plan?
Zaid, you must cheerlead a little bit more to bring
exactly,
more cams
guys,
online.
let's do it. I think, yeah, please turn on
1,
your
2,
cameras.
mixed reality picture. I don't know, you're the cheerleader.
Yeah, we need maybe some more cameras turned on. So please join us, guys. Some more people are joining. Nice, more people. Please,
I also
please.
must dress up at least a little bit, you know.
Yeah. I'm checking on Bino, Chirac, Essie, Lars. Join us, turning on the camera. It will be, I think, believe me, it would be the one and coolest group picture here in this session. Nice. Anyone would like to join us? Okay, no worries. Then I would say I'll put on also my HoloLens, and then we jump into really incredible group picture.
Yeah, seems the metaverse community is still a little bit shy.
Yeah.
But wait, when the Teams avatars comes, huh? Maybe we will have more then. And the good mesh avatars will come.
Yes, looking forward to that one. So yeah, I will take the picture. I don't know how to do that. In a second.
People call it a screenshot site.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little bit old-fashioned. Nice. So let's normally when we do this in person, so we count for 3. We say mixed reality community rocks or mixed reality rocks, but it might be a bit challenging here online. So let's just do a very funny pose, and then I'll count by 3, and then we take a funny pause. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Ew.
Nice, amazing. Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So,
maybe, and we may do later a screenshot also in the after party.
Yeah, definitely. The after party is a must. So join us in there. There we plan also one of the biggest group pictures. So let's rock it. Thank you so much, Vesta, for having us. And yeah, looking forward to the next sessions.
Thank you. That was excellent. And this was a fun idea. Thank you for joining and speaking.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.